So basically, this is the structure of HTML. Every web page, every website that is around have this basic structure, or all modern websites that you see have this basic structure. Whatever you see is what they have put in inside this structure. Now, what I always tell people is don't memorize anything. Just understand what each one does, and it becomes easier going forward. So you already know what each one is and what each one does. So I think that is it. And we also learned this nice trick that you just type HTML, then just select HTML5, and it will automatically create this template for you. Then you can put your code inside. Okay, so I think we did a lot of work last week. I'm just going to continue from where we left off. You talked about elements, attributes, headings, and paragraph. Did you discuss style sheet last week?
I don't remember star sheets. I don't remember we discussing star sheets.
Okay, yeah. But we did a little about styling, right?
Yeah, we did a bit of styling.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that is where we ended. So I'm just going to continue from there. Our next uh, our next topic will be formatting. Now, if you want to build a text, if you want to build in a text, if you want to make a text italic, uh, make superscript, subscript, and those things, we have some unique elements or tags that will help you achieve that. Now, before I go on, I think let me give this one out. So this is an example of a tag or element. Now we have two types of tag. We have tags that have closing. They are you have to close them, like there's a name for it. I've forgotten. So you see the P tag. You start with a P, then you close it. Now there are tags that you don't have to close them in this way. For example, image tags. You see how that one is? So this you have to close, and this one doesn't. You don't need to close it. So these are the two main types of tags or elements: the ones that have closing tags, and those that doesn't. You don't have to repeat yourself. Just straight up go it. There's a name for it. I'll remember. Give it out as we go on. Okay, so today we are just going to continue from where we left off. Let's do a little bit of formatting. So let's say I have this tag over here. Okay, so this is a P tag. Now, if I want to bold in this, there are a lot of ways that I can do this. I can just use a style to make it nicer, or use what you call bold, and it just be. So first of all, let me show you how this one looks before I apply that one. Let me stop sharing and share the window. Okay. So stop it and go live again. So as you can see, this is the test that we have. Now, if you want to bold in this, you can have what you call B tag. So you just put B around it to be automatically the closing tag comes down. So you have to just put the text that you want to bold in inside a B, the bold tag. And let me save, go to the page, and as you can see, the text is bolding. So if you want to just bold in a text, just put that part of the text that you want to inside a B tag. Automatically, it will bold in the text for you. Now, what if you want to apply an italic to a text? What you do is you just have to apply I. Let's go to W3 schools. So without, so there's another tag called strong. It's just the same as bold, then emphasize also. But if you want to do italic, you just use the I tag to I, then just apply it to the text that you want it to be italic. If let's go to the browser, and as you can see, our text is in italic form. So this is how you can format text. There are a lot of other ones that you want to do. If you want to do a subscript test, you just put the test in the sub, it will do that for you. If you want to strike through a test, you just use delete. That one will also do. So these are tags that you can use for formatting text. We have the B for bold, the I for italic, and so on. Now the next one that you're going to look at is quotations. Now if you want to insert a quote or make a text look like a quote from someone, what you can do is you use what you call block quote. So there's a tag called block quote. Can someone give me a popular quote from someone? Okay, so let
Time is
me
tight,
copy
wait for
this.
no man.
Perfect.
Never give up.
Is there? Hello, Stella.
Hi.
What was the code that you wanted to you talk?
I said never give up.
Okay, fantastic. So let's apply this one. So if you want to put something in a code, just put the block code, that's the name of the tag, around the text that you want to apply the code to it, and automatically, you see, it has pushed it a little bit from how the other started, just to emphasize that this is a code. So if you want to put a quote in your code, that's how you go about it. There are other ones too. If you want to put the double quote, just put a Q around the text that you want to, automatically the browser will put double quotes around it. So let me just copy that, then paste it, save, and as you can see, there's a quote that has been applied to this text. So you can see there's a double quote here and there too. So that is that. We have a lot of them, but the most important ones is what we have done with dealt with. Abbreviation too. Let me copy it and you see how that one works. So World Health Organization, the abbreviation is WHO. If you put ABBR, means abbreviation, then give it a title. It will, when you pass the mouse around WHO, it will just show you whatever that abbreviation is. So, as you can see, the WHO is especially, like, it has been marked special from the other ones. When you pass the mouse around it, it just give you what it is. So you just put ABBR, then title, then put the abbreviation inside the tag, and that's how you get abbreviation. Then the next one is address. Now, if you want to show an address in your web page, what you do is you have the address type. I prefer typing so that you follow what goes on. Now, pay attention to this one. There is a special tag here. Now you see, this is just a single tag. There's no opening and closing, whatever. The BR tag is for line break. So if you want to introduce a new line, you can just put the BR there. It will force the next text to be at the next line. So let me save it. Then you see what I mean. So as you can see, it has made it kind of different from how normally a text will look like. So that's how you display address in web pages. Now, if I take the BR from here, automatically this one will be appended to it. You let me take all the BR from all of them, then you see what happened. See, and now our address is on one line. Now, if you want to have it on each line, just add what we call BR. So BR is for line break. If you want to break the line, go to the next one, you use BR. Please, is it okay? Am I going too fast? Is it okay? I want feedback.
It's okay. It's okay. We are following. I'm following.
Okay. So these are like a way of making your HTML look special. There are special tags that you can use in your code to make your web page kind of look kind of different or nice. There are other ones. I'm not going to waste time on it. Now, the next bit that of another important uh, concept in HTML is what we have comments. Now, if you were in our previous class where we did the introduction, we said that when you put in a comment in your code, the browser is automatically going to ignore that bit of code. That is the primary purpose of commenting. Now, you can also use comments to write or write something about what you're doing. So let's say I just did this. Probably in the next 10 years, I might forget why I did this way. You can put a comment there, like a little bit of information there, so that the next 10 years, when you come back, you know that okay, this is the reason why I put the address here, but not here. Is that okay? Now, this is how you put a comment inside your code. In HTML, you start with the less than sign, then exclamation, then uh, two hyphens, then another two hyphen, then greater than sign. Then you put whatever comment that you want. So let me say this. Okay, so this is how you put your comment. The less than sign, exclamation, then two hyphen, then you put in the information that you want to put in, then you close it with two hyphen, then a greater than sign. Now, when you run this code, the browser is going to ignore this one and display the address. So let me show you what that one looks like. So as you can see, there's no useful information here. The browser knows that okay, this is a comment. I don't need to display it. Now, as I said, comment is used for like writing information to remind you of what you did. You can also use comment to hide code. Now, let's say if I don't want this address to show anymore, I did the website and your client said, "I'm fine. Now I don't want the address to show anymore." maybe the client is confused. Probably the client may come back and tell you to bring the address back. So what you do is you just put the code around where you want it to hide. So as you can see, I've put the comment here, the beginning of the comment, and there's the ending. Now it has hidden the address that we already had. So let me see. Then let's go to the browser. Voila, as you can see, our address is gone. So you can also use comment for hiding things from the browser. If you don't want the browser to show your code anymore, you can put it inside a comment. The same way, I can put the whole thing here. Put everything here in a comment, save. And when you go to the browser, everything is gone. Although the code is there, but because you've applied a comment to it, everything is like it's the browser will say, okay, now the developer doesn't want to show this thing anymore, I need to automatically ignore it. So that's how you use comment. This is the syntax for declaring a comment in HTML. So let's bring our work back, and now it's showing nicely. Now the next one that we are going to look at it is colors. Now, if you want to make your work nicer, you can apply a lot of colors to your work. I think we did a few ones last week, and yeah, the assignment that we did, a lot of you did very nice website with background colors, and I think I was interested. Now, HTML also has a way of specifying colors. You can either use the name of the color or RGB. I'll explain what RGB is, then has the HSL, the RGB, and all these ones. Now, the one that we mostly use is the names, the RGB, the has, then the RGB. I'll explain a few of them, then you can go. So these are some of the names that you can just use in your code, and automatically there you have these kind of colors. So HTML support 140 color names. Example is tomato, you have orange, you have what was that? Doja blue, medium sea green, a whole lot of colors. Think of it, and you get it in your HTML. So let's say you want to apply a color to this one. The color has to be in a style. So style, then color, then these are all the names that the names of colors that we can apply to our HTML. So let's try with tomato. Save, go to the browser, and our test is now showing tomato. The color of our test is now tomato. You can apply a lot of colors to it. Now the next, so this is using color names. The other one is to use has. So has is base 16. So the same thing, style, then color. But that one have to start with hash. So hash FFF is white. So you can have give it any hash number, and you have a color. So you start from 000 to FFF. So that these are the valid code that you can have in your the hash code for color. So let me try a nicer one. So for ED. Okay, so I just made it up. Save. Then that is our color. Now, VS Code will make it easier. You can just be clicking on it and it will just generate it for you. I'll talk about the RGB. So as you can see, the heads, I'm just using only 3. You can you can have at least six code. So I can continue and have 6. And automatically I'll get a color. So either you stop at 3 or 6. And it's a valid hash code. And as you can see, I have a new color. The next color code I can use is what we call the RGB. The RGB is the red, blue, and green. So color do RGB. Then you specify the red. How for it should be a number from 0 up to 255. What is the quantity of red that you want to give? Then quantity of green, then quantity of blue. So automatically the browser is going to mix these 3 values and give you the color that you want. So when you look at it, yeah, that is the color that we have. So you can just play along it, just be clicking on it or dragging, and you should have whatever color that you want to. Yeah, so that is it. The color change. So this is how you specify color. You can either use the name of the color, RGB hash. The other ones are also code of how you specify colors. I'm not going to spend my time on it. Now, another important concept in HTML or web design is what we call styling. You've done a little bit of it. We will spend a lot of time to show you how powerful styling is. I'm just going to give you a little bit of intro. You have a whole session on CSS. Then we you get a whole understanding of it. So when you talk about CSS is an abbreviation. It's just cascading style sheet. Now let's take web design as building a house. You can put the foundation, the blocks, and those things. Now, as we are putting P tag, A tag, tables, code, and those things, these are blocks. Now, if you do that, you can have a website, fine, but it's just like someone has built a house, laid a cement work, but they have not painted the house. The house doesn't look nicer. Now, styling or cascading style sheet, what it does is it brings a little bit of, it makes your work nicer. Imagine if you didn't apply this style, color, and those things, our HTML would have been just blank HTML. So that is where styling comes in. We have CSS. So I'm just going to be using CSS. It's the same as styling. So the cascading means what the cascading means is you have a lot of, you can, let me put a slash tag. So the head have another tag for styling. That is where you put your styling in. Let's create a whole. Okay, so let's have a little bit of tags over here. Now, when you look at when we're doing this, you see automatically I have I have to apply the styling to them individually. Now, what you can equally do is you can put all your styling inside the star tag. So you have what we call a selector. Please, if you don't understand, don't worry. We will go into this more in detail. So what you do is you have what you call a selector. Then the brackets, you put in all your styling into it. So let's say if I want this text over here to be bold, what I'll do is you have font weight. I want it to be bold. Font weight bold. And I also want this to be red, so color red. So what this means is I'm telling the browser that look for every P inside my body and apply this style sheet to it. Let me save it. Okay, so that one is CSS. HTML. So as you can see, our P tag is now red and is bold. And all this is because of this. Now, if I have another P tag, automatically the styling will be applied to that one also. So you write the style one, and automatically all this one is being the style is being applied to all of them. You can have a lot of them. So let's say you have font size. Let's make it, let's say 18 pixels, and automatically all the P tag will have that applied to it. So this is how you do styling in HTML. You have your style tag, then you put all the style that you have inside. Now, if I have another H1, now with that one, nothing is going to happen to it because it's black because the styling was for P. If you want to apply the style for H1, what you do is come down here. So H1, then you can continue applying everything that you want to that one. So see, go to the page and voila, the style has changed. So this is how you do styling in HTML. Don't worry, we will take our time to go to it more because there are a lot of things to learn when it comes to styling. Let me go to the page and read some few things. So we have three types or three ways of applying style. The first one is by using the style tag. It's called inline CSS. So as you can see from the hello world, we are applying the star sheet on the element itself using the star attribute. Okay, so this is called inline CSS. Okay, then what we did over here, where we put all our star inside the inside the header. This is called internal CSS. So this is internal CSS. You put all your CSS in the header inside the style tag. The last one is called external CSS. So the external CSS, now let's say if you have a bigger, as you can see, if you have another element here, I have the CSS for it. Let's say you have a 5,000 element inside your web page, and you're placing your style sheet here is going to make your file very huge and it becomes difficult to track. So what we do is you put all this inside what you call a CSS file. So
Yeah, Amos.
whatever name.
Amos.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone has his hands raised up. Who is it?
Emmanuel. It's Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. Okay, yeah, Emmanuel. Yeah, Emmanuel, you can ask your question. Yeah.
I think he's about to answer my question, so I think I'll.
Oh, you are okay. Sorry, I didn't see. Forgive me.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
So I can continue, right?
Yeah, you can continue. You can continue.
Yeah, you can continue.
So let's go back to our code. So if you have a bigger web page, you are going to have a lot of CSS. So it makes sense that you extract all the CSS in one file, then you link it on the page that you want it to be applied. So that is called external CSS. And that one is very, very, very good, because in that case, you can use the same CSS on different pages. So later, if you want to change the particular CSS, you can just go to that one file and change the CSS over there. Now let's do an example of external CSS. So you put it inside your file course. So let me say our style, and the extension is .css. Okay, then you can just start writing your CSS in it. So just like the other one, color, we are making it brown. Each one, we are going to make that one color blue. So what you can write all your CSS in that file, then apply it on any page that you want it to be. So let's go to our CSS, or better, let me cut this bit of CSS that you have here, take it away, then put it in our CSS over here. Okay. Now, how do you use this CSS in any of the web pages? What you do is you use what you call link, and that one has to be inside the head tag. So you do link, and then very important is href. Href is where the CSS is. So href, there is our CSS is our it's called our style the CSS. Then there's another attribute called rel. You use that one to tell the browser what that is. So I think that's test then style sheet, right? George. So this is
Yes,
just a
yes,
way of
yes, style sheet.
telling the
Yeah,
browser.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a way of telling
I
the
even
browser
use
that.
shortcuts with VS Code so that I auto complete it, but then it's okay. That's
Okay.
also, yeah.
So what is the shortcut so that we all
I
learn?
think it's you start typing link, then the colon, then it will suggest. So clean the whole line,
Okay,
yeah.
so the link,
Link, and then yeah.
then
So
colon.
come down, yeah, CSS,
Okay. C
yeah, no,
CSS.
CSS,
Okay,
yeah,
so okay, so automatically it does that for us.
yes,
So what it's telling us is this particular link is a link to a CSS file. Don't forget our CSS, the name is our style. So let me do it well. And that's it. So with this is what you call external CSS. Now, when you go to our CSS page, automatically we have our CSS on it. And you see, this is much cleaner. Now, we've extracted all our CSS from the file and sent it to external CSS file that you can be calling it anywhere. So what that means is I can equally pick this one and put it here, and it will work. Now, this will bring us to another important concept called what you call precedence, or like which one has higher precedence. So don't forget that we've talked about inline, then internal, then we've talked about external. Now, external, the inline has much precedence. Now, look at the P tag. The P here, if you look at our CSS, we are saying that the P should be red. But when you come to this page, we are saying that our P should be green. Now, which one will work, or which one will take effect? The inline has higher precedence, followed by internal, then followed by external. So here, although our external, in our external, we are saying our P tag should be red, When you go to the page, let's go to that page. Hello. As you can see, although in our standard CSS, we are saying our P should be red. If you look at here, we have P. Our P here is green because the inline has match precedence. Okay. The next one is the internal. So let's say if you had another star here, the CSS is going to pick that one to take this. If an element has all these star, inline, internal, and external, it will pick the inline star and apply it to the tag. Don't worry about star sheet. We will take much deeper dive when we finish the basic of HTML. So basically, you have inline styling, internal styling, and external styling. Okay, so let me move a little bit faster so that we can complete today's lesson. Now, you did what links last week. So links is just a way of referencing one page from another. So let's say if you are on one page and you want to navigate to another, you use what you call links. I think last week we talked about it. So it's called anchor tag. So let's say, let me put it here. So the most important attribute is href. Href is where do you want to go when someone clicks on it. So what you put inside the A is what you want to show to the user. So let's call it click, or let's call it go to CSS page. So let's say if you want to go to CSS page, what you have to do is just put the address here. So the address can be internal or external address. So in this case, we are using internal address. So we want to go, when someone clicks on go to CSS page, we automatically send the person to this particular page. So let's save it, then go to our page. So you see, go to CSS page. When I click on it, automatically it sends me to the CSS page. So the A tag or the anchor tag is for navigating from one page to another. So this is how you do internal. If you want to go to external, so let's say go to Google. So you put in the address of it. So Google address is going to be www.google.com. So save. Let's go back to our page. Refresh. So this is go to Google. Now remember we talked about a special type called BL, line break. So let me save it. And so the go to Google is on another page. When I click on it, so I think I have to HTTP. So when I click on it, automatically it sends me to Google. Now, you see, it has replaced what were the page that we are on with google.com. But what if I don't want it to replace it by opening another tab? So you can also do that, add a special attribute called target and new. Prefer, I think it should be new. Let's try that one and see. Click on it. And as you can
I think it has
see,
to be
this is
underscore
our
blank.
hello.
Amos.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it has to be underscore blank. Yeah. Underscore
blank.
blank. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So if you want to, let me go back. So this is our page. Previously, when you click on go to whatever, it replaces where like where we are with the new page. But if you want to open in another tab, you can add target then underscore blank to attribute, and automatically it will open in another tab. So when I click on CSS now, oh, that one didn't have it. It was the second one I had there. So what happened is this one doesn't have the target attributes. That's why it opened. When I click on go to CSS, it opened it inside the same tab. But when I click on go to Google, it opens another tab and show us. So that is how you go to another tab. So basically, that is it's about links. The next one that you're going to learn about is images. Now you can put images inside your page, your HTML pages, and I think some of you during the assignment that is submitted, you added page images. So let's go to this one. Now, if you want to show image in your code, you add a special tag for img. I don't know why they didn't name it image. So you have to use the special tag img. So let me clean whatever is there. So img. Then the next one is src. Then you just close it. So this one doesn't have the, as I said, the other closing, the way of closing. You can just use the forward slash and the greater than sign to close it. So image tag is a very important attribute called SRC. SRC is where is the image that you want to show. Where is it? So it can be external or internal. So if it is internal, you just specify where it is. So I have images inside the folder called images. So I go to my images folder. Then I have these two. So I have laptop. So let me show that one. So you just put the location or the URL inside the SRC. So let me see. Now go to images. I think it's image. Okay, voila. So this is the image that you have and it's showing. So if you want to show an image, you can just use img and tell it the SRC. It can be an image in www whatever, wherever server it is. You can just put it inside the SRC and you should be fine. So I had another image over there. I think that one is laptop. Save. And let's refresh. Oh, so it was the laptop that you're showing. It was. So you have another one called home, rather. So home, save, go, and our image has changed. So this is how you change image. Now there's one very important thing called auth. So let me put attribute called auth. So this is a whole image. Now I'll show you why that one is very important. So now it's showing fine. Let's say by some mistake our image is no more. So let me make sure there's no image like that. See, then when you come to the page, it's saying that there's supposed to be an image here. So it will just give you a test as to what was supposed to be there. So you can give it a more descriptive information. So if the image is not found, it will show this particular test there. So let's say if I take this one off, go to the page. Now you have this broken icon that is showing that there's supposed to be an image, but what image is supposed to be there? So you use the auth to give a little bit info about what is supposed to be there. So please take note of it. Okay. So far, is there any questions? Is someone's hands up?
I don't think there's any hands up yet, but I'd wanted
Stella,
to.
Uh-huh.
No, yeah.
You can chip in.
Yeah. So I wanted to chip in. Can you go back to the VS Code?
Okay.
Yeah. So about the path, right? So for the source, I think VS Code IntelliSense is able to give you a suggestion on the path once you bring in a forward slash. So maybe if you can clear all the source files, and then start with forward slash. So I don't know if you have it. Yes. So you can see that
So
in the
this
options,
one.
you see the images, then you click on it, and then they also give you another suggestion. Yeah. So it's easier for you to know the part where you want to select a file from, whether it's an image or a link you want to visit or something. So that's a very short way of you finding where you can see your files and all that using the IntelliSense from VS Code.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So that is how you can easily navigate your way around the folders inside your projects. Okay. So I think the images are okay. The next one. Oh, why is it frozen? Okay. The next one I want to talk about is what you call background images. So background images is a way of applying a background to your page. So you can apply a color. I think we did that the other time. So let me go to the background color. We did that with colors the other time. So let me go to the page background. As you can see, I'm applying a color to the background. Now, I wanted to do this or to show you a very important concept about background images. Make sure the background that you apply to your web page doesn't have any image or doesn't make it difficult people reading from your page. So as you can see, blue and black doesn't really go. So in this case, the text should be white so that it becomes a little bit visible. So you see, and now the test is much better than the previous one. So this one, just by the way, make sure the background that you're applying doesn't make your work or your web your page difficult to read. So take note of it. Now today we are looking at background images. So you just do background image. The next one, what you do is you do the URL. Where is the image? So our image is inside our images. Then you want to apply the code. So save, and when you come, voila. So we have this nice background on our page. So all the text will be on it. But as I said, make sure your background doesn't make your work nasty. So that is, if you use a bigger background, it will fit the page nicely. Now, what happens if you use an image that is not big? So laptop, see, as you can see, this it is repeating the image. So what it will do is it will try as much as possible to repeat the image to fill the whole container. So you have to be mindful of how your background color, your background images. Make sure it fits the container. Or what you can do is you can turn off the repeating. So that one is background repeat. I think that should be background, then no repeat. So in this case, it's not going to repeat the page, the image. It's going to apply it wherever it ends. That's it. Forget about it. Okay, so this is how you apply background image. You can stretch the image, and there are a lot of attributes on this background image. You can stretch it, you can make it cover the page, you can give it weight and those things. So I'll leave that one as assignment and look at it later so that we can have a little bit time for the rest. So the next one that we are going to look at is tables. So if you want to do a table inside your HTML, you use a very special tag called table. So let me clean it. So table, that's the parent tag. The next one is I wanted to jump the gun, but let's do it better way. So with HTML5, we have what we call T head. So that is where the head or your header, your table header will go. And you have T body. Okay. Now inside the T head, you want to put what you call TR, that is table row. So you can have a lot of rows inside the header, but most you use just only one row. So the TR is just a row, table row. Then inside the TR, inside the header, the TR inside the header, the T head, you have what you call the TH, table header. So let's say you want to show a table of countries and the account, the capital. So country, then another column will be capital. Okay, let's save it and look at what you have on the page. So table. Okay, so that's it. You see, this how forget about how you do. We make it nicer later. So first of all, it starts with table. The T head, that is where the header of the table will go. Then the TR is just a row. A row, the header has to be in a row. Now the T body is where the actual table data goes. Okay, so that one, what you do is you put in a TR, then the TR has to match exactly what you started with inside the T head. Okay, so inside the header, we're having two columns. So definitely the table body should have every table row should have two columns. So that one has a special uh, attribute called TD. That's the table data or the cell. The first one is Ghana. Then the other column TD is Accra. Okay, you can have another row. So Nigeria, in the capital. This is Abuja or Lagos. You can have a lot of table rows. Okay, so which country? USA. The capital is Washington. How do you spell Washington? Anyway, okay, so please pay attention to the structure. You have table, the T head, that is where the header of a table will go. Then the T body, that's where the body of a table will be. Now the T head, you just go to the TR, the TR is just a row inside the table. And the T head should have a special tag called TH, a table header. The body is TD, that's the table data. So let's save it and go to the page. And this is how the table looks like. So you have a table, countries, and capital. Okay. So as you can see, the table is not nice. You can apply styling to it. So let's go and apply a few style to it. Then you can move on. Before I go on, I hope there's no question or Marcus, if you want to add anything, please do.
Oh, so far so good. Everything is on point.
So far.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's apply a little bit of border to our table. So as you can see, we want to apply a border to the table. Let me copy the star over here. Now, who can tell me where this star should be? Which part of the page should I put the star that I've just copied? Hello?
CSS file.
Yes, it can be in a CSS file or just put it inside a style tag up here. Okay, so let me explain what this thing means. We have the selectors, so we are going to apply this style to the table tag, the th tag, and the td tag. So what they're saying is the border of the table should be one pixel solid black. We have a lot of this dotted dash and those. If you look at them later, so just make sure he's saying that the table should have a border, and the border should be one pixel and it should be black. So when you look at it, go to our code, and as you can see, we have border around the table, and each the T head has a border, and the TD also, the body also have a border around it. Now let me take one after the other so that you understand. So now if you got this, that means that we are applying the style to the table. So when you save it, look at it. So the border is only around the table. Now let's apply it to the TH and see what we have. So as you can see, our table, the header or the heading has the borders, and you can also apply it to the TD, that's the table data, and this is what you have. So the takeaway is you can have your table, the T head, the T body, and your data goes into it. So this is just the basic syntax when it comes to table. Okay, let's apply a little bit of styling to it so that I don't know my. So as I said, the so you can apply background to your table. My PC is a bit slow. So you can apply background color to your table. The radius you can make it a bit rounded. So just come here, border radius. Let's make it 2 pieces and see what we have. So the PS is just a unit. It's the same as pixel. Okay. So save, and as you can see, we have a little bit. It's a bit rounded. Let me increase it so that you guys are a little bit visible. So let me increase it to 8. Save it and see our border is a bit rounded. So this is how you apply round to a border. Okay, so let's look at the sizes. Now you can make one column bigger. You can make others smaller. It depends on how you set it. This to this. So let's say I want, for let's make the table the weight to be 100% so that it's stretched throughout the whole page. To save, when you come, now our table is stretching the whole page. Now, as you can see, because it's 50-50, automatically the table is dividing it into two, sharing the space for the country and the capital. So if you have another column, it will push the rest to fit in. Now, what if I want the country part to have more? So let's say style, the weight, I'm going to make it 70%. So I want the country column to occupy 70% of the whole table. So as you can see, it's picking 70% of the weight of the table. Okay, so that is styling. Now let me talk about this important concept called column spanning and row span. So as you can see, you have two columns over here, country and capital. Now, what if I want to have so I have another table row over here. So ideally, you should have had two TD to make sure it matches. But you can use what you call column spanning. So call span. So what that do is if I make it two, it's going to span the whole thing. It's going to stretch and take two columns instead of one. So let me say this is filling the whole column. Let me save it. Then you see what I mean. As you can see, there's no division over here. It's picking two columns because we are telling it to span, like pick two columns. The same thing applies to rows. TR. So let's say if I have a TD over here, you can let it occupy two rows. So row span, let's say two, or better say three. So this is filling variables. Then put another TD over here so that you see what this one is. See, go to our page. It's not doing what I expect it to do. I think that one is being applied to. Let me have another. Do you see what's happening? The first column is taking three rows, so it's pushing the rest out of the way. So in this case, what we don't need to have this over here and that. See, it has to be. So the column span goes this way, goes the horizontal, and the row span goes the vertical. On the vertical. So that is how it is. Let me look for a good example here. Okay, so let's say this table. So the name here is taking two. The column span here is two. Okay, but here the row span is taking 1, 2, 3. So this, if you want to create a table like this, you have to use column span and row span to achieve this particular thing. So as you can see, the first one, the name is taking is spanning 2. That's why there's no line dividing this one. So that the row span, let me put this. So this one has row span of 2, so to automatically it will collapse 2 rows and put the rest there. So the rest will only have, instead of having 2 for each one, when you do a row span, because it's taking 2 rows, the rest will just have 1 and 1 over here. So the row, there should have been another row over here. but this guy here is eating the row that was supposed to be here. That's why we only have only one. So in this case, on this bit, what I have to do is I don't need to put any data there because it's going to eat into the other ones. Okay, so that is that for